Are
Mm, mm, mm.
I think we're live almost.
Yeah.
There, I see
Oh,
all the streamings are lit up. Here it is. We are week. Boy, we don't even have a week.
playoff week
With
one.
this
No, no.
super wild card weekend roundup.
I
Yeehaw!
don't.
January
I don't
16th.
subscribe to their
I
terminologies. It's
hate it.
playoff round
I
one.
hate
It's right.
super wild. They had to brand it or something so they could sell shirts or something like super wild card weekend winner hats and stuff like that. It's people that like to have hats to gloat about success. Uh, so
I,
that's what it is.
I have to say something
Yes.
as a Giants fan. Jason Kelsey retires after 13 years seasons. you
So yeah,
know,
so that excited person is,
I am
and
Harlan, the
I'm
Giants fan.
I'm Derek, the Bears fan. And so we finished it. We got through Super Wild Card Weekend.
Yes.
First, neither of our teams scored this week. So,
No, it was 0-0. It was 0-0. We would have to go by how many members of the front office did they fire. Like that's what we would have to
I
go.
think the Bears win. The Bears fired their
What
entire offensive staff. Oh, wait, you guys fired your entire defensive staff.
we yeah.
We
That's
we
what,
did keep the tight ends, the assistant tight ends coach. So,
we got rid of the offensive line coach.
oh, yeah,
We
they could
got
win.
rid of the entire defensive staff, the special team coordinator.
Nope. Wait, hold on. The Bears parted ways with their cap guru, the guy that was the negotiator for contracts this week too. So I don't know if that helps.
Mm.
He'd been there for like 25 years.
Man, that might be a toss up too, because clearly we're cleaning house in the front office.
Everybody gets their walking papers except for the people that count, probably.
Yeah, yeah, I would have not liked. Well, wait. Then we could go. Did your defensive coordinator curse out your head coach on the way out? That's what happened to
Probably
ours.
offensive coordinator probably motherfucked him under his breath. But
Oh man. But neither one of our teams were playing this week.
no.
We knew that from last week.
Well,
We probably knew it from week 10.
there was always the sliver of the
There
little,
was.
that
There was.
little itty bitty hair of hope that we're clinging on
So
to.
when the Eagles started failing, our team started performing.
I'm gonna tell you what. I said this today because I had to get on a 9 a.m. meeting after a long weekend of snow and holidays and stuff, and I had my Bears
Mhm.
hat on. And they're like, "Oh, look at the Bears fan." I'm like, "Listen, the Bears could have done what the Eagles and the Cowboys did in the playoffs.
Easily,
Easily, they could have
easily,
easily done it.
easily.
Probably done a little bit better. Could have done as well as the Browns. Could have done as well.
And you know what? We would have been happy to do it.
Yeah,
At least we were one. If we were in there, we would be one of those teams that are happy to be there, knowing we shouldn't have been there.
hmm
But the fact that we're there lets us know that we're not trash.
I'm gonna tell you what. Before we even talk about what happened over the weekend, we all know what the results were, but I saw Eagles fans complaining in the stands online, like uh,
About
about they're tired of failure and mediocrity. They went to the goddamn Super Bowl last year. They're in the playoffs this year.
I will tell you though, as their number one hater, which I am, um, they've had success, but not the big success. And that hurts. You talk about think of the Andy Reid years. 4 straight years of going to the NFC Championship, one time going, then going to the Super Bowl and not winning, and then they go to the playoffs almost every year
Man, when it
and never do
didn't
anything
didn't
except for that one championship.
didn't they in the Super Bowl like come up like 2 yards short, or was that the Titans that came up 2 yards short?
No, that was the Titans that came up. They ran into one of the I believe they ran into one of the Brady teams. One of those the looking at people's
Oh
playbook
yeah,
teams. I
the
think I
stealing.
think it was one of those
Yeah,
teams.
Bill Belichick and Tom Brady in their primes, both doing what
Yes.
they do best. Tom Brady getting rules made for him, and Bill Belichick breaking the rules
and
whenever he can.
and acting like he didn't benefit from this style of this new Tom Brady is weird to me.
Oh, I don't like Tom Brady. He's a whiner.
This, new, this new Tom Brady is weird.
Now, I'll agree with Tom Brady. The quality of football is kind of down quite a bit, but it's been down for a while. Like
But he acts like he didn't
I
contribute to the
know, yeah.
softness of the league. After he tore his ACL week 1 of that year, it was never the same
He
again
had
for
like a band ACLs for a
quarterbacks.
while, I think.
They said you couldn't hit the quarterback low. Just hitting him low. No, not a thing anymore. You cannot do it. It's crazy. So, but yeah, we are getting. I think we are getting bad football now.
It was a bad weekend of playoff football. There was only one good game, and that's because it wasn't a blowout, and that was the Lions and the Rams.
I think that the Texans Browns game wasn't bad.
Oh man,
It was a blowout, but
the Texans made the Browns look foolish. The Flacco magic came off the rails. Let's talk about that one first because that's on the top of the list here.
mm-hmm.
The Texans were dogs. Texans were at
It was
home.
the first game of the playoffs.
First game of the playoffs, and C.J. Stroud just looked like a 10-year vet out there. I don't know how he does it.
Mm-hmm. It just he doesn't know that he's not supposed to be playing this good. I think I heard somebody say that the other day. No one has told them the Texans. There was Shannon Sharp said no one has told. This is why they're so scary. No one has told them they are not supposed to be this good this fast with a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback. They have nothing to lose.
Yeah, and they just go out there and they play good. They play really well. They're not perfect by any stretch of imagination, but C.J. Stroud was only like 2 points off of having a perfect quarterback rating for the game.
You want something that you can consistently work on, especially as a coach. You want the games to be slightly imperfect so you can sit there and go, see, this is what we could do better versus a team that's beating people 45-0 and you just go, yeah, that was great.
Did they have one or two pick sixes on I think it was
that was
two.
about when I stopped watching.
I think they had two pick sixes. Like the moment when I think it was in the second quarter where CJ Stroud drops back and throws, I don't know, like a 50-yard laser down the middle of the field and just missed Nico Collins probably by about half a yard. And they're like, oh, and everybody on TV was like, even his misses are outstanding. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to stop watching now. It was an overthrow. I mean, it was great. The guy was open,
It happens.
overthrew it. They happens, but man, CJ Stroud was great. The Texans looked great. The defense looked great. The Browns looked confused. The Browns didn't know what they were doing, offensively or defensively. They didn't know what was going on out there.
I saw a thing said Larry Tunsil is wanted for kidnapping Myles Garrett because he was missing all game. All game.
Laramie Tunsil totally just eliminated him as like a defensive. The dude's probably going to be the defensive player of the year. Well, I'm gonna say there's like three guys that are probably sitting there at defensive player of the year possibilities. And Myles Garrett, I think, is probably top of the list. But then you also have T.J. Watt, and then I think Micah Parsons still sits there too.
Over Bland, over his teammate that has 7 or 6.
I'll tell you what,
touched. He didn't. I'm not going to say he's good. I'm just saying when you look at the stats, which is what that position really, what the trophy's for.
Yeah, who has the most sacks, pretty much.
Who has the
right?
Yeah, he had 6 or 7 pick sixes. Like it was crazy.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, we'll get to him in a minute.
No, he's like the other.
Smoked like cheap cigarettes.
He's like Diggs. He's like the other guy. Diggs they're not very good on the press corners. They can't really play. They're very don't accidentally throw a light ball their way. They'll take it
because
they're ball hawks.
Always trying to jump routes, even if it sacrifices coverage.
Yes. Yep.
But the Browns look mediocre at best. The Joe Flacco magic dust has faded away. Him and Josh Dobbs are probably going on vacation right now.
He looked old.
Yeah,
he looked old out there. And when you look at his numbers, he only missed 12 passes, but 2 of them went to the other team.
Yeah,
Went
two
2
went to their team that
interceptions.
went to the end zone, right? Texans, man, they put up a 45 spot. They were 2.5
That
point
was
dogs,
crazy.
and they won by 31. Right? So you're like, there's the first game
Crazy.
is a blowout. Then we get history being made because it was streamed it was a pay-per-view football game, basically is what it came down to. The Chiefs versus the
Yeah.
Dolphins in the incredibly cold Arrowhead Stadium.
Yes, it
So
looked
we're
cold.
here. When is Kansas City going to change the name of their football team and the name of their stadium? Come on, you have to. Atlanta Braves, if you're listening, you got to do it too. Chicago Blackhawks, please, it's time. But so the Chiefs in Arrowhead welcome to and it was what 20 below zero or whatever. Andy Reid is my favorite part of the entire game because guess what? I don't know if you heard this or not. His mustache froze, and they kept showing it over and over again. Look at his frozen mustache; it's frozen, and it was icicles hanging off of his face. I love that.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I could care less about both these
Oh, I
teams.
know.
This was the one game I did not want to
Nope.
watch all week. I didn't care about any one of the teams. I didn't care about who won,
Nope.
who lost. This is the only game this week I felt that way about.
Yeah, and I'm gonna agree with you. And like the whole thing, I was like, and I ended up watching it until it put me to sleep because it was a really boring football game. The
Yeah, I
the
watched the beginning of it, and then I was like, I don't. Why am I watching this?
and honestly, so if you were even like remotely knowledgeable or aware of football season, you knew that Taylor Swift was at a lot of Kansas City football games, right? Great,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. Like she's like one of the biggest pop stars in the world, if not the biggest pop star in the world. They're gonna show her whenever they can. Super. They showed her dance in the stands. I'm like, oh, good for them. Like, it looks like a lot of fun. I think that was the highlight of the damn game. It definitely wasn't the football.
No, definitely wasn't the football. It was too cold to be out there playing.
It was.
It was too cold
There's
to be.
there's Taylor Swift
Nobody.
swag surfing in a box, and I'm like, okay, great. And then there's Tua. That football looked heavy. It looked like it hurt when it hit your hands. It looked like
Nobody wanted to
tackling.
tackle.
Well,
Nobody wanted to
Patrick
tackle. It looked
Mahomes,
like it.
do you see his helmet shattered into like 50
Yes.
pieces? It was so
Yep.
cold, his helmet shattered. And some people were like, oh, that's the last thing a helmet designer wants to see. I'm like, no, that's what you want to see. Would you rather have all the force like going to the head and the head shattering?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's like
Like a crumple
it's a
zone.
crumple zone. Yeah, like I'd rather see the
Yes.
car look like a mess and people walking out of it
Then
alive.
yes.
But that game
It
ended.
protected what it was supposed to do.
Yes, 26-7. Who cares? Now here's the
No
interesting
one.
thing. Let's talk about Tua real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Tua is on his 5th year next year of his rookie contract. They picked it up. They picked up his extension, his 5th year extension. They have not given him an extension,
An extension.
yet. Herbert got an extension. Burrow got an extension. They were both in the same
It's
draft, right? Or was
it's
Burrow a year
it's
earlier?
hard. It's hard to give a guy an extension who missed pretty much a whole year. Like, I think you know what I mean. Like, I think that has a lot to do with it. If he would have played that, let's say he doesn't get hurt last year, and you fully see a full season played, and you see how good he can be. I think he gets an
He had a
extension.
full
I
season
think
this year. He
they do.
didn't miss any
They do.
games this year, and he was really good.
He looked good. He looked good. He was MVP talk for a while.
He was MVP talk last year before he got hurt. You know,
Mm-hmm.
let's pull up Tua numbers real fast because I'm curious because I think 4,600 yards, 29 touchdowns.
Yeah, then the game I told you that's the season that I think Patrick Mahomes should have every single year, and you looked at me like, "Come on, man."
You can't have it every year.
I think he's that good. He should have 4,600 yards every year.
Let's see. Quarterback rating on the season of 101.1 through 14 picks. I don't man when you're throwing
That's high.
when you're throwing it that much, you're gonna throw picks. 70%
13
completion
fumbles.
rating. Like, I mean,
70% is
he had a
really
great
good.
year. Tyreek Hill had a great year. It helps to have it. If you want to be a great quarterback, it helps to have great receivers. Like
Yes.
I don't care if anybody thinks that diminishes a quarterback in any way or a system. Like that's what teams are meant to be. If you have a quarterback
Mhm.
and a great system and great receivers, yeah. So what?
Yeah.
Like, be great. Go out and be great. I want to see great football be played. And Tua, for the most part, is a really good passer.
People act like these great quarterbacks do it in a vacuum,
Hmm.
like they do it by themselves and had no
Like
help.
they're Bugs
And
Bunny.
it's yeah, exactly. Or Mr. Perfect. I don't know if you've seen the video of Mr. Perfect throwing it to
No,
himself,
I
the wrestler.
haven't.
It's old wrestling highlight. But yes, if you want to be great, you really need a great wide receiver with you. There's not many that do it by
He's
themselves.
got two. He's got a legit number one and a legit number one disguised as a number two. Because only reason he's number two is because Tyreek Hill is on the team. And
Mhm.
Tyreek Hill had one of the greatest receiver seasons ever of almost 1,800 yards and 13 touchdowns. Like, what are you gonna do? I if they don't extend Tua, then I don't understand what it is they're looking for from a quarterback.
That's all to me, that's all you could hope for. I don't understand it. You just want someone that's going to lead your team.
Uh,
That's it.
yeah,
That's it.
unless they're looking to do the Lamar Jackson route where they.
They pay him everything he asks for plus some.
but
Like I don't,
but I mean, like, I don't
and not
understand like
guarantees
what they're waiting for because like the longer you wait, the more
the worse
expensive
it
it
gets.
becomes.
Yep. Yep.
Because, well, you know what? Well, maybe worse from the Dolphins' favor is the next crop of quarterbacks that are extension eligible are
Right.
Trevor Lawrence, uh, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and Mac Jones. Right? Like,
Yeah.
maybe you just like
But
nobody's
that's not who he's going to be competing with.
no.
He's going to be competing with the contracts that just got
But
done. No,
nobody's going to reset nobody's going to reset the quarterback contracts between
but
now
I
and the
think
end.
it's already really high.
I know.
Like no one. You're right. No one's going to reset it. But Dak Prescott's coming up like
Again,
this year,
yeah. And now here's
and
the Jags.
he's gonna reset it. He's gonna want to reset it,
Yeah, probably.
and they have no choice. They have no
I
choice.
I think the Cowboys are in an interesting spot. What if they don't? What if they don't give Dak money? What if they figure out a way to like
If
pivot off of
you
Dak?
thought, if you thought it was bad for the Cowboys and Jerry Jones when they are a 12, what did they win? 12 games this year?
Yeah, 12-5.
Yeah, they're a 12-win team and go to the playoffs and get. Imagine what it's going to be when they lose, when they're a 3-win team or
I've
4-win
seen
team.
them be like a 5-win team.
Yeah, they've had him before that. The year that they drafted Ezekiel Elliott, the year before, I think they only won like 3 games because he was drafted like 4 or 5
Mm-hmm.
that year. But they will. If you want to kill Jerry Jones, that's how you do it. Jerry Jones is like he realizes he does not have much time left on this earth, and I'm just putting the averages out there. I'm not trying to kill the man. He's
He's
81
old,
years
yeah,
old.
for sure.
He's 81 years old. So I'm not, he realizes if I want to see another team, I can't rebuild. He'll do whatever he has
True.
to not
I didn't
rebuild.
think of it like that because he did. The only thing he has going for him, re age, is he's a billionaire,
Yes.
and if he doesn't want to die, he could probably get his brain like pulled out and preserved and put in a robot or something. I'm sure he's working on the technology.
He's
Oh,
thought about it.
he'll be put in the stadium. He'll be
Yes.
welcome Cowboys fans. He'll be like his face will come out on the big screen and it's me,
He's
Jerry
already
Jones.
he's already asked for AI to
He
be
already
all
has a
through.
hologram. He's got the
Oh
hologram
no.
experience there. You go in there, you can see him. It's like he comes out and he answers your questions and shit. It
Oh
really
no.
that exists. I only know that because
Mm,
it gets brought up at work. Like, can we do something like this? I'm like, I guess we could if we wanted to. Make Jerry Jones. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's a thing. He's gonna
yeah.
be his brain is gonna like. I remember when Al Davis died, and I think we joked about his brain getting put into his cat or something like that, and like still running the Raiders. I think Jerry Jones is gonna find a way to have his brain put into AT&T Stadium.
Just it's his baby.
He'll be in there, like I'm sure they'll
Goes
grind up
goes
his bones and put him in, like in somewhere special, but the brain will still be alive and controlling things, and he'll be there on draft night. Pipe back.
Oh no. just Kang over from the
Hmm.
from,
That's what it'll be. All right.
well, Krang.
Krang or Kang and Kodos from The Simpsons, or like the heads in the jar from Futurama. I don't know what'll happen. He'll exist though somehow. All right, so Chiefs beat Dolphins. Who cares? Then
Yeah.
the next night. Okay, so remember, let's go in the Wayback Machine. And I said,
Hmm.
there's always a team that has no business winning in the first round of the playoffs that wins. Right? I said that. And I chose the Steelers because I couldn't choose the team that I suspected would be that team.
Yep.
So I chose the
Uh-huh.
Steelers. But let's get to the team I suspected would be that team, but I could never choose them to win anything. The goddamn Packers went to Dallas and just thrashed the Cowboys,
It,
humiliated them.
it was like another Christmas
Yeah, I
week.
know.
This weekend was probably one of the best weekends I've had watching football
Oh
in
God, it was
a long
abysmal.
time. To watch that, and you know what's crazy?
Hmm.
That game was done, but I had to watch every minute of that game. I could not turn away from that game. It was like a car
Dude,
crash.
that game was
I was
done
like,
with 4 minutes left in
oh,
the second quarter. That game was done before halftime. I think I texted you. I'm like,
if
I think it's done.
yeah, and I was like, they got so. If Dak throws that interception in the end zone, which he should have,
Mm-hmm.
that ball hit that man two hands
Oh,
and
yeah, it
he
did.
dropped it.
Lucky hit a
If,
linebacker. That's all you could say.
yes. If he catches that and they go down, it is 28-0 at halftime. People are getting fired at halftime. That touchdown that they scored saved jobs.
At the halftime jobs, at least.
At halftime, saved jobs.
I bet you Jerry Jones fired somebody just like ceremonially, like just like to get out of his system.
Mr. Jones, I've got your cocaine. You're fired.
Yeah.
Just
It's like it's like he just sat there and watched porno for like 3 hours, and he's got to do something now. It's like you're fired. You're fired. There's something to that extent. That was bad. So bad.
there's no really one you can blame that loss on. Like losses like that, you can't blame it on one person.
No.
It's a complete total failure from every position on it, from the coaches to the players on offense to the players on defense. The only way it would have been not offensive side if the game was a shootout 48-46, right?
Yes.
But that's not what it was. Don't let the score fool you. There was no shootout.
It was not a shootout. But let's point
an execution.
Fingers. Let's point a few fingers real fast. The defense was terrible. Terrible. No defensive plan that looked right. So everything that makes me mad about watching the Packers versus the Bears existed in this game. There was wide open over the middle. Jordan Love off his back foot. Floating passes out there 40 yards to a wide open Packer as he
wide open,
like,
guys.
The throws weren't even on target, some of them. They were just like lofted out there, and the guy's like, coming in closer, backing up. It's like a center fielder in baseball. I'm like, what are you doing? What is going on? How is he that open?
On that route where that guy was that open and he underthrew him, that he had to wait for the ball. He had to come in like, oh boy, this ball. Like, I don't know what Stephen Gilmore was doing on that. I don't know if you got to watch it from their perspective. He takes he goes in and Stephen Gilmore's following in the slant, and then he just goes to inside, go to the sideline. But Stephen Gilmore didn't follow him.
He keeps going in. I just watched it. Yeah.
What are you doing? What was he doing?
There was nobody within 30 yards of him.
No. Just even if you thought you had safety help, even if you dropped into your zone and that was it and you had a safety, why was he still going in the slant with the direction nobody was going in?
I don't know. He looked confused. They all looked confused. That defense looked terrible, and it made Jordan Love look amazing. And Jordan Love is actually a pretty good quarterback. He had a really nice season. He started off rough, and
as he should.
That Green
he
Bay,
hasn't had a lot of time.
That Green Bay system is built for getting receivers open. I don't know that Matt LaFleur just has lots of motion, lots of guys cutting across the middle crossers. Like there's just always somebody open, and Jordan Love stays within the program and knows where to find the open guys. Good
But
for him, man.
with the Jordan love, Aaron Jones really killed the
Yes, he
Cowboys.
did.
They cannot they've had a problem on both sides of the ball when it comes to either stopping the run and running the ball. The Cowboys have.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do either. They can't run the ball, and they could not stop Aaron Jones
Aaron
from
Jones
doing
had 3 rushing
whatever
touchdowns.
he wanted.
They didn't
He had
stop.
21 carries for 108. They couldn't stop anything. Anything he did.
Yeah.
It was just it. And that makes it so much easier on your quarterback because they have to. They have to prepare for this guy. Aaron Jones is killing them.
Respect the run, and they got a guy that can just hit open receivers.
And if Jordan Love is competent enough to see it and he can audible into the right play to beat you, you're gonna have to either sit back. You just can't sit there and play. I'm just gonna send the house at Jordan Love.
Yeah.
You can't.
Nope.
Because your front up is not strong enough to handle the run by itself. And it wasn't. They got destroyed.
And I'll say this too. And even when they do like a full out like zero blitz, zero covered, zero man blitz or whatever it's called, Jordan Love just closes his eyes and like chucks the ball, and
it looks like that,
and it just flutters out there. There's like no one in the screen, and then all of a sudden here comes a green jersey running across the screen, catching the ball
with no one else around
no
him
one else
either.
Like, how does this happen? How can no one else see this ball? Like that's what I'm saying. Like there's a bird of prey that's going to eventually swoop one of these out of the air because they just sit up there. I don't know how it happens.
I had seen the Giants when the Giants played Green Bay and they won. I looked at Love, but he didn't look that great.
No.
He didn't have a great game. Giants did what they did. I didn't notice all the back foot throws. I think because I'm just looking at my defense trying to tackle him. I don't even look at him. But Sunday watching that game, I was like, Jesus Christ, Derek is right. He is throwing every one of these off balance.
He's always off his back for no reason.
He's
in a clean pocket, and he's like, I'm just going to fade away right here. Why? Why are you fading away? And every ball floats. Every ball feels like it just floats in the air. And like, I don't know how he does it. You think eventually it'll bite him in the ass. Maybe it will. I mean, this is only 1 year, like good for him. He had a great year and still going. So whatever. Yeah. We got to point more blame for the Cowboys though.
More blame.
Because the offense, they season, they made their bread and butter passing the ball.
Lamb.
And what did they do?
But to one person, though.
Yes.
It's always been CeeDee Lamb carrying the torch the entire season.
But they came out of the gates trying to run.
They had to. But they had to. Like,
the Packers have one of the worst defenses in football, especially from a secondary standpoint. Shred. Because Michael Gallup is a good option. Is a good
Brandon Carr is a good Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks.
Those guys are there.
Brandon Cooks.
Use them.
And they've got a good tight end in Ferguson. And he's not bad.
But they put themselves in third and long situations consistently because they're running on the first 2 downs. And they can't run the ball.
They can't. That hurts them. That hurts them. And like I said, I was saying it that I know. How many times do you think Jerry Jones told them I told you so about the Ezekiel Elliott thing?
I don't know.
Because the smart move tells you don't pay that man. You got to get rid of him.
Isn't a feature
He's beyond
back,
his.
You can't give him every down.
He's not a feature back, but for whatever reason, it allowed Pollard to play really well, and you could guarantee that Ezekiel Elliott down in that red zone was going to get you touchdowns. Yes. If you was first and goal on the 2, hand it to Zeke, touchdown. Yeah. Pollard couldn't do that.
No.
He fumbled someone this year on that. Yeah. He in that Eagles game, he kind of got hit and turned around and didn't get to go in. Like, that's just not the guy he was. And I do think that Ezekiel Elliott would have helped their running game on as the season. Like you said, I said before, you said it. It wouldn't have helped this game, but I think it would have helped the season because they had no running game all season. And for them to try to go for a running game in the playoffs when they didn't have one all season, it's kind of dumb. That kind of goes on the
Yeah,
coaching.
I mean, I don't get that. I don't get that. And then I guess the last fingers to point are probably Dak and CeeDee Lamb.
I I saw they said on I think it was the radio or they said something that in the last 4 or 5 playoff games or starting from 2018, the playoff games, Dak Prescott has not had over 85 passing yards in the first half of a game
Hmm.
in any of them. He starts off and if you look at the scores going into halftime, the game is usually over by before the half is said. Now, granted, you can tell when you look at the final stat total because his stat total, like this game, gets blown out. But the only game was last year against the 49ers. I think he had like 82 yards, but the score was like 9-6.
Mm-hmm.
So it was still they were still in the game, but the other games, they have all been just like bad blowouts
I don't know. I know.
going into half.
I really like Dak, and I know Dak gets
I like him too.
Dak gets a lot of hate, and I know Cowboys fans are fed up with him because he's not. I don't know. What is he not?
I don't know what
Is he not Aikman?
they,
Is he not Romo? Because Romo didn't accomplish anything.
he is. He is Romo. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
he is Romo.
He is Romo. He is
But he's still really good, and it's like
he's a perennial Pro Bowl quarterback.
yeah, he is
Constantly going to put the numbers up
and
there.
he had a great season.
Yes.
He led the
But
Cowboys to
what do we?
12-5, and he was
He
amazing.
usually does.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys usually have one of the better teams in the NFL. That's been a given for 20 years. Name the quarterback, name the wide receiver. They had T.O. Romo. They had Dez and Romo. They had Dez and Dak and CeeDee Lamb. All this through this time, they had Jason Witten at tight end the entire time. They had Marion Barber, who was a Pro Bowler. They have talent everywhere. Everywhere.
70%
DeMarcus Lawrence.
4,500
Which one?
yards. 36
Yes.
touchdowns, led the NFL.
Mhm.
Only 9 picks.
Yeah.
105.9 rating. 72.6 QBR. You're like, these are all
Yes.
like, and MVP numbers. Like, if it
100%.
came out Dak was the MVP, people would be upset because they lost this game. But if you look at it as
It's
just
a regular season.
regular
A
season,
regular
you'd be
season
like,
award.
okay, I get it. I see the argument.
Yeah.
Because I think Lamar Jackson I think it goes Lamar, Brock Purdy, Dak. But if it went Purdy, Lamar, Dak, or Purdy, Dak, Lamar, or Dak, any of those three, if they were MVP, I wouldn't be angry at it. I would think Lamar should be the guy.
Yeah.
Man, how do they just implode when it comes to the playoffs?
This is what I believe. It's coaching. I think when you get into the playoffs, coaching really matters, right? Like you know who you're playing. You've got tape on them for an entire 17 games, right? A good coach is going to figure out where their deficiencies, where the other team's deficiencies are, and start attacking them. It's your job as a coach to figure out where your deficiencies are and either hide them or do what best you can in the time that you have left, right? The Cowboys, due to Jerry Jones, don't hire that great coach. They just since his name is Jerry too, right?
Barry Switzer?
No, before Barry. Barry's not a good
Johnson.
one. Jimmy Johnson, JJ. Yeah. Before Jimmy Johnson was a great coach. Since him, second coaches that go, all right, Jerry, what you want me to run? Jerry, who do you want me to hire? Instead of guys that's gonna go out there and lead, these guys, and this is his problem. Jerry said, "Oh, I wish I'd have got Sean Payton. Sean Payton would have never went there. Yeah. Oh, I wish I'd have got Belichick when he was available after the Browns. Bill Belichick would have never went there because the power that you have to give up to get one of those coaches, he would never give up. So he's forced to get Wade Phillips, forced to get a Jason Garrett, forced to get some of these people. He did have Bill Parcells in there, but Bill Parcells stayed just long enough to get their roster right, and then he left. He just would, for whatever reason, I don't think he's going to get it. And to me, that's why they don't go far. Because if you had to say, oh, it's going to be Kyle Shanahan versus Mike McCarthy, you're going to go, I'm going to pick Mike McCarthy. I'm going to pick Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, yeah, every time.
Right? Or if it's McVay versus Mike McCarthy. Now, if it's the coach of the Green Bay Packers over Mark McCarthy, I'm going to pick up Dan Campbell over Mark. All these coaches you're going to pick over Mike McCarthy, and that's why in the playoffs they don't do well, because their coaching is just, no one ever says they've got the best coach on the field.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my take on it. I think they have one of the best teams every single time.
But now here's the thing: Mike McCarthy is a Super Bowl winning head coach. Won a Super Bowl with Green Bay Packers.
Mm-hmm.
He can't be all bad. He can't be terrible. He's just always not the best one on the field. I don't know. Like I don't hate the dude. I
don't think he was ever a really great coach.
But I mean, just like last year when we saw that last play of the season, right, where Zeke is playing center.
It's always funny.
And as soon as you see it, you're like, oh, that's a Mike McCarthy special right there. And it was. I don't know.
But that to me, that's the problem. That's why they won't get, even if they fire Mike McCarthy. That's why they won't fire Mike McCarthy, because they know they're not going to get one of those highly sought after coaches.
Jerry Jones.
They know that.
Yeah, he's stuck with Jason Garrett for so long.
Mm-hmm.
That man had no business being an NFL head coach.
But their teams are always so good. Anyone can coach them. And that's always been what Jerry has said. And the reason why him and Jimmy Jones didn't go. Anyone could have coached these teams.
Yeah.
The talent was on those teams. Anyone could have coached them. And then when Barry Switzer won that championship, it kind of proved his point.
Yeah, because Barry Switzer was
anyone could coach these teams. So now he thinks if he gets enough talent around these coaches, they should be good enough. But Jimmy Johnson is a really good coach. Yes. Jimmy Johnson's a really good coach. You can't have that. And now I think that he's just stuck. He can't get a good coach, and that's what you need to go far in the playoffs.
Those teams from the early 90s were a lot like the Bulls teams from the 90s, right? They were just so overloaded with talent. And the overload from talent primarily was the byproduct of
Jimmy Jones,
the Herschel Walker trade.
Yes.
Right? So
yes.
Jerry Jones has not had a Herschel Walker's trade since.
But to me, it's really Jimmy Johnson coming from college and knowing what those college got, knowing the change of landscape. He coached Michael Irvin in college, right? He knew the college landscape coming from college at that time, what it was going to take to play in the NFL.
Yep.
I think that definitely helped, and that's why he wanted to get Barry Switzer, but that didn't work.
I don't know.
I don't. As a Giants fan, I have a lot of hate for the Cowboys, but I never worry about them. I honestly don't worry about the Cowboys because I know when the playoff time comes, they are going to lose.
Yeah, and they have. I think Jerry Jones is cursed.
Yeah, he could be.
There are a lot of people that were saying you can't. The football gods can't let Jerry Jones win on MLK Day weekend. Right?
Well, that's always going to be in the playoffs. So that
was another thing too. It's like this is Jerry Jones' worst MLK Day since the first one. So yeah, who knows? I don't know. Cowboys,
That's
Packers. So there's that team that had no business winning, and they won. Now
mm-hmm.
to the other NFC North game, the Lions and the Rams. The Lions won.
The Lions
The Lions
won.
had a very nice first half. Then they played very physical second half.
Very physical.
On the verge of, you can argue, dirty at times.
It was rough.
There
It
were
was
a
rough. There was some
few
hits.
hits.
There was some hits.
Tyler Higbee tore his ACL on that knee shot that he
Oh,
took. Um,
Aiden
I
Hutchinson. They tried to take out Stafford.
yeah.
Man, there was a double. That hit was rough.
Well, he took it from three sides, and there
It
was
was
no
rough.
flag on that one. I was like, how
Uh,
is that even a thing? He even got stepped on that one, which is old Ndamukong Suh sort of technique there, getting stepped on like right on the gut. I'm like, what is going on?
mhm.
Um, and they still only won by one. They scored 3 points in the second half.
Yeah,
I don't think the
that was a
Lions looked
good.
great. They had a very nice first quarter. They ran down the Rams' throat that first quarter, but I think the Rams played better the next three quarters.
I I think the Lions are outplaying their talent. I think they're hitting the talent ceiling, and it's going to suffer in the next couple rounds. Yeah, they're a good team. They're a good
Mm-hmm.
team, but they're like Goff is going to put up numbers. But if you had to rank Goff in terms of quarterbacks, he's going to be in that second tier.
Yeah, he's top 10, top 12 probably. He's fine. He's
Yeah,
a really good quarterback. He's the number one draft pick quarterback. He's good. He'll
yeah, he's
get you
good.
your 4,000 yards and get you, your 25 to 30 touchdowns. He's fine.
But I think that they're he's on that second tier, lower second tier when you think about it. Same with their just everyone on their staff. They've got good people, they've got big names, future big names, but when it comes talent for talent, it's gonna show in the next round. Maybe not the next round. They go up against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's the thing too. So
Yeah, they'll beat Tampa Bay.
Lions and Rams were on NBC, which is like my least favorite place to watch football because everything's so overproduced. And then when
It
the
is
moment they
overproduced.
had the multi-camera segment of Eminem pleading to Matthew Stafford about how he cheered for him, like, God, the Lions need to lose because of this right here. NBC, if the Lions lose, it's because NBC brought this on them. Uh, God, I hate
32 years.
NBC.
32 years not getting a playoff, not a playoff win in 32
I
years.
know, and like that's great. Like I said before, like the Lions were always the other team in the division. I never gave a rat's ass about.
Yeah.
They always found ways to lose, even when they shouldn't lose. They were still finding ways to lose. This year they're doing fine. They shouldn't have won this game, but they did. I really wanted Stafford to come back because I that would have been like the perfect story for Stafford to come in and just.
Wait, no, he can't have too many perfect stories. He left that team and won a
I know.
championship.
Well, this
That's
is
where the
perfect
perfect
story
story
part
ends.
two.
Don't come
It's
back
to
and
be
beat them.
continued. They got that Super Bowl, and now it's like, yeah, he comes back.
You got your ring. Don't you just leave it alone. That's his perfect story. He was on an 0-16 team to a championship team. That's his story. Don't just come back and just crap on your former
Well,
team.
you have to, because now hold on. If you were a Lions fan, okay, so let's say you disappeared again, Harlan.
I'm still here.
I
I'm
know.
still here. It's
So
just
let's
yeah.
say this happened. Let's say
Mhm.
as a Giants fan, Eli Manning left, like when he still had like good years on his thing, right?
Yeah.
Instantly wins the Super Bowl wherever he goes.
Don't come back and do us like this,
But when he
Eli.
comes back, would you boo him?
Huh?
Would you boo him when he came back?
Eli would not get booed. Eli would not get booed. That's like what happened with Patrick Ewing as a Knicks fan.
Yeah, I know exactly. You can't boo the man.
They traded him. He didn't want to go. Well, Stafford did want to go, or did he? I don't even know if he did.
Yeah. So,
But I'm just saying you can't boo him. But I don't want him to beat us. Don't you do this? Don't you
they
call us
booed
this
that man
heartbreak?
mercilessly. Him and his children when they got on the field, they were getting
Can't boo him.
booed.
You can't boo
They
him.
booed him. And afterwards,
You
he
you
said, I'm
you
happy for the players. He didn't say anything about the fans, which is nice. I
you
like
can't,
that. Like,
you can't boo him. But this is I know we go on tangents. I know we go on tangents
we
'cause that's
talking
part
Bulls?
of the show. We're talking
We got to
bull.
talk the Bulls. Only the Bulls, baby. They had the Ring of Honor ceremony this weekend where they were going to celebrate all. This is the first time the Bulls have never had a Ring of Honor. They don't have an in-stadium Hall of Fame ring like that. So what they got to do, they got to. They're not a good team, so they have to do, they have to drum up some excitement. So they have this
To
Ring of
get
Honor.
fans.
Cool. And they're going to bring back all the greats: Jordan, Rodman. Those guys couldn't be there, so they had pre-recorded videos.
Yes.
Let's bring back Jerry Krause. Well, we can't. He's dead, right? So they bring back the widow, and she gets booed to the point
She gets she
tears,
starts crying. She starts crying.
and they wouldn't turn the camera off for. What are you doing, Bulls fans? What are you doing, Chicago Bulls? Like what they did is so. I get the
You booed
immediate
a dead man.
the immediate need to want to boo Jerry Krause because Jerry Krause has been painted as the villain
Course.
of as the guy that tore apart the greatest team ever, right? Even though Jerry Reinsdorf is the worst owner in all of sports.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Krause built a team that won 72 games. He ended up having to be the guy that broke it apart, right? So on the big screen, they show Jerry Krause, and they show Jerry Krause's face, which immediately elicits a boo. People start booing, and then they cut that to the widow crying. She's going like this. She's crying, but people didn't
There's
stop booing.
they didn't stop booing. They didn't stop booing her. Yeah,
What are we
yeah.
doing, fan base?
You're booing dead people. That's the thing. You know,
Booing dead people,
he's not
and then
even
you're
here.
booing. Yeah, like what's he gonna hear that from hell or whatever? Where you think he's at the
He's
afterlife?
not here.
Boo.
And it's just, oh man. I was like, oh, okay. All right. And you listen, I'm from the Bronx. It's called the Bronx chair. We boo. That's what we do. We boo. But you gotta know when is not a good time to boo. That wasn't a good time.
No, it wasn't.
Was it a good time?
It wasn't a good time to boo. Oh, you know what the best part about it? So I'm because I'm a Chicago fan. I'm still tapped into Chicago, like reaction response and Chicago radio people. And I don't listen to Chicago, even though I get Chicago radio stations here. I can't listen to them because they're so goddamn negative constantly. There's a guy on the Chicago sports radio. His name's Danny Parkins. He was trying to justify the booing online. I'm like, is the hill you want to die on? Why is this the hill that you can't justify the booing? You just can't do it. You just cannot.
He's not there.
Yes, he's dead.
If Jerry Reinsdorf was in that stadium and his face came up on that screen, you have every right to boo him, in my opinion. You have every right to boo him.
There's Jerry Krause waving.
Krause, yes. You know he's not there. You know Jerry Krause has passed away. You know that.
Well,
when they announce his name,
I'm
you don't think they knew?
I'm going to say it's 50-50 on if they know it or not. Chicago fans are pretty fucking dumb. I'm sorry.
You can't. It could have been his kids there. It could have been his grandkids there, because you know he's not going to be there. And like I said, I like to boo. I'm a fan of booing. You just can't boo, but you want them to hear it. That's the point. That's the point of booing.
Yes, you want the person you're booing at to feel bad, not their
Not
widow.
The widow. Not their widow. You're just a jerk at that happens. Come on. Come on. Oh. I saw that and I was like, oh, this is good one, guys. Good one.
And you know what's the worst part about it too? Well, the worst part about it for me is I saw it online and I was like, oh God. And I saw somebody respond to it. It's like Chicago sports writers, classless. I'm like, yes. So I I hearted that thing on Twitter or X, formerly known as Twitter. Then my feed was nothing but filled with Bulls fans booing news highlights and people their reactions. Like all I wanted, one is enough. I don't need to hear every take that is identical about the booing. Just I don't need to hear it from XB X594641 Just keep it. Except for there are the ones that were trying to justify it, but whatever. Speaking of
What are the
justification,
games?
can you justify the talk of the Steelers letting go of Mike Tomlin? Or the fans wanting to let go, even though they lost 17-31.
You know I can't.
No.
And honestly, you talk about 17-31. If they don't throw that pick in the end zone
Yes.
and they don't fumble the ball,
Yes.
they are surprisingly in that game.
I think the biggest turning point, even with the pick and the fumble, was the Shakir touchdown where Mika Fitzpatrick, it should have been like
Got
a
injured.
3-yard completion, hits him, and then dude just like, cool, and then he just runs in the end zone. But he didn't tackle him. He just threw a
Yeah.
shoulder at him and then kept on running with his back to the guy. That play right
Yeah.
there, I think, broke the Steelers because then that made it 2 scores.
They had that one missed tackle against Allen too that he broke for like 50 yards for a
Yeah.
TD.
Oh, on the fake slide.
Was it a fake
Yeah,
slide?
he was going to do a slide. He did like the stutter step, looked like he was going to slide, and then when everybody pulled up, he just ran.
Oh
up,
yes.
and that was a 55-yard run for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
When in the
Yeah,
same game, he got hit on a slide, and then Josh Allen. I love Josh Allen. He's a great quarterback, but he is the football flop equivalent of LeBron James. The man
Yeah.
got hit in the gut and still like pretended to fling his head back. His head didn't even touch the turf. Flags, like 50 flags, come flying from all over. There's like aerial flags.
You can't hit
They're
him like
dropping them
that.
from the blimp.
He's not Justin Fields. You go hit Justin Fields.
Oh,
like
Justin
that.
Fields is, and because Bears fans have nothing better to do than anytime a football play happens than to make it about the Bears in some way. Like it doesn't matter what it is. Holy shit! The whole weekend was like C.J. Stroud. The Bears could have had C.J. Stroud. This is why you drafted. Like there was that argument. There was like the you got to fire your head coaches. But then as soon as Josh Allen got that hit, here comes 50 highlights of Justin Fields not getting the same call.
I've seen those videos.
It's like I get it. Like I watch the games, they suck. But like so in the same game where 50 flags come out for that hit, the moment he starts to stutter to look like a slide, everybody just pulls up. And then he just goes right around him. So I don't know.
Because yeah, I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah. One of these days he's just gonna get creamed. But the thing is he's 6'6" and 260 pounds and it's not gonna get creamed like other guys get creamed.
No.
But I don't think the Bills look that good. They look better than the Steelers.
They did. It was cold.
Yeah.
You know what? I expected the weather to be worse than what it was.
Yeah.
I was expecting what the fans had to go through in the stands to be what the field looked like. The grounds crew really did a good job. They did a solid job on that field. I couldn't even tell it was a blizzard on the field.
Yeah.
They did an amazing job. But I was expecting it to be different conditions. Instead of just cold, I was expecting snow. But
and it wasn't even Kansas City cold because Kansas City was like -20 or whatever. It was above zero.
It was a cold game, but that was probably about it.
It was on CBS too, and I don't know what it is about CBS's broadcast, but the sounds from the field are louder. So like the hits sounded like they were real painful in the cold.
Yeah, I don't envy them for hitting in the cold.
No, that hurts.
I don't.
All right, so then that game, Steelers lost. They were the team that could have possibly won, but whatever. Mike Tomlin's not going anywhere, Steelers fan, so shut your goddamn.
Did you saw his interview?
Oh, he had every right to just say fuck off, and he did.
Yes. He's told the team he'll be back next year.
Why wouldn't he be? He like I
He's
think we said last week. He'll in the year 2038, and he says, "I'm done playing coaching the Steelers." He'll be done coaching the Steelers. Until
yeah.
then,
Yeah. He has every right, and they're just like, oh, she was probably just asking, "Are you working on a contract?" He's like, "Listen, that's not what we're here
yeah,
for. Basically, we just lost, and you're asking me a personal question when we're talking about this team." And knowing the Rooney family, they're like, "Yeah, no, when he's ready to have a conversation about getting an extension, we'll give him the extension. We just write the paperwork. He put the number down. We sign it,
yeah.
and we go back to doing our business." So
I
no,
think
yeah,
the worst
they're
part about it for Mike Tomlin is he's probably been asked the same question every post game press conference, every Wednesday press conference since week 2.
yeah,
And every week it's
yeah.
just like, why are we doing this? He still has a year in his contract. Like, so
And,
even at
and
worst,
we
he's got a year left.
I don't understand what the fans are trying to do. It's almost like they don't understand their own organization. The organization is not going to do anything because you've actually decided that they need to get rid of him. They're not going to do anything. You know that they don't prematurely fire coaches. They've never done that. So what do they think they're doing? Are they just trying to embarrass Mike Tomlin? What are they trying to? What are the fans thinking is going to happen by them asking for a guy who sent them to the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years or so? Like, what are they doing? Where they're in it every year? He's never had a losing season. They don't know what losing really is.
And here's the one that really makes me laugh is I've seen Steelers fans argue that it's Mike Tomlin's fault that they're always so good or good enough to not get a high draft pick where you can get a quarterback to replace Ben Roethlisberger, who they took at what 8 or like
Yeah.
11.
No, he was a top 4 or 5. No, he was up there. It was the first couple picks were Philip Rivers. No, Eli Manning went number 1 to the Chargers. Then when Eli Manning to the Giants,
11th.
not the
He
Giants,
was picked 11th.
11. He was 11
Yes.
because the Giants said if they couldn't get Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger was their pick. That's why I always think that he was up there.
He was taken 11th out of the University of Miami, Ohio. I forgot about that part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's a good draft. Eli Manning,
Philip Rivers.
Philip Rivers.
Yeah, they said the
Larry
Giants said they picked.
Fitzgerald,
That's Hall of Famers.
D'Angelo Hall,
Not quite a Hall of Famer,
Roethlisberger.
but like I said, I've seen Tomlin. Tomlin went up to Chase Young and said, "Man, you're a hell of a player. I'll never get a player like you because I'll never pick that high in the draft." He told that man that I'll never pick that high in the draft.
You don't
And
want
that's
to.
what I want. That's what I want my head coach to say. I will never be in the top 5 because that means we sucked.
Yes.
And that's not what I get paid to do.
Never.
We can't stink. So no, I don't get it. Do the Steelers fans want to be bad?
Yes. They want to have a bad season so they can get a high draft pick. So they can get a quarterback.
They get players, good players, wherever they draft. Does it matter? Does it matter?
No.
They've had Le'Veon Bell. They had Antonio Brown. They've had Ben Roethlisberger, of course. They've got T.J. Watt. They've
always got good players. Yeah, you got Minka.
They got Minka Fitzpatrick. They didn't draft, but they traded from Miami to get him. But it doesn't make a difference. You got him.
Troy Polamalu. Like if we go back in history, the Steelers have always had good players.
No matter where they draft,
only had
because they're a good organization.
Bad seasons. I think we did this exercise a few years ago, or I did the exercise and showed the results in a Slack chat of how many times the Steelers have had a losing season in like 60 years, and it's only like 6 times, right? They never drafted at the top of the draft. Like they're always good.
But I'll tell you what, if there was a quarterback out there that they could have drafted that were good, that deep, they would have found them. they were unfortunate enough to have to kind of be stuck with the guy that they had. They had no choice because Roethlisberger was retiring, and that was the best that they can get. But hopefully, they'll have options this year if they don't want to. If they don't want Pickett or Rudolph, they'll have options.
There's options.
This free agent market for quarterback is going to be a market I don't think we've seen before.
I think there's a trade market for quarterbacks too. That'll be.
There's a trade market. Yeah, there's a trade market. The free agent market may not be, but there's definitely a trade market. But that's what I meant when because Russell Wilson will probably be gone.
Russell Wilson will be a free agent.
Kirk Cousins will probably be gone.
I have a strong feeling Justin Fields is going to be available for trade.
Arizona Cardinals, and I'm pretty sure if the asking price is right, you can get your hands on.
I don't think there's a single
Kyler Murray.
There's a single player short of like 3 or 4 that is untouchable in the NFL. Like you're not going to get Mahomes out of Kansas City. You're not going to get Josh Allen out of Buffalo.
You're not getting Herbert.
No, Herbert's my dream. Like since we're here, the Bears have the number 1 pick. The Chargers cap hell. Yes, they just signed Herbert to a long extension, 5-year extension, a lot of money. They have 0 cap space. They're negative cap space with expiring contracts. They have nowhere to go. If you could reset, if you could say, we're not going to be good anyway for a few years, and get Caleb Williams.
But they know.
I know.
Known commodities.
But I'm telling you, that team's not going anywhere for a hot minute.
They can have what they have now and go further than where they've gone.
Oh, I know. It's still my dream. It's like my pipe dream that's never going to happen. But the Bears have the number 1. They'll be like, hey. So here's the thing. Here's the thing that is like my super dream about it. Right? They have an open GM position, and they just interviewed Ian Cunningham, who's the assistant general manager for the Chicago Bears, and he's a front runner for that San Diego position. What if he goes to San Diego
and decides to do a favor for y'all?
Yeah, not just a favor. He can keep the USC kid
one hand washes the other.
In Los Angeles. Oh yeah, like the Bears could even overpay a little. We'll give you the first, and we'll give you some other stuff, whatever. And then he could trade Justin Fields again, and he recoup some draft picks. Man, I'm telling you, Justin Herbert. I love Justin Fields, but I'll take Justin Herbert 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I don't either. But a boy can dream. A boy can dream.
Okay. Let us talk about. If we don't talk about another team,
Philadelphia.
Let's talk about those Philadelphia Eagles
versus the Buccaneers. The Eagles went down to Tampa Bay, and the bake show baked.
They did. They were. He didn't even. He had an okay game.
It's all right.
He had an okay game. It was all right game. But we got to talk about how bad those Philadelphia Eagles were on every aspect of football.
All 3 phases, they were bad.
They were not good. Hurts looked bad. The offensive line didn't look great. The wide receivers minus AJ Brown was they were okay. Devontae Smith had a good game.
He played
I like Devontae. I like him. I'm so mad that he's not a Giant, but whatever. I'll be mad forever. Yeah. But besides him, there was nothing.
No,
they had nothing. Yeah. They had nothing on defense. They're all pro cornerbacks that they've had that were all pros last year. Absolute trash.
They don't have a pass.
They can't cover anybody for any extended amount of time.
Yep.
Like Baker had every pass he wanted in the playbook. Like everything he wanted to do. I've never seen a team go 10-1 and win one more game for the rest of the season.
It's never happened before.
I've got a friend who is an Eagles fan, and I just started thinking the last 6 weeks he had not seen any wins except for the Giants. Like it was so bad. I'm a fan of a team that's been bad, but every week you think your team's going to be good, and they stink no matter who they're playing. Mm-hmm. It didn't matter who they played. Green Bay lost. Arizona lost. Giants lost. It did not matter who they played. It was
And the thing is, they were up on Arizona. at half by like multiple scores, and then just said loss.
Did not matter who they played, they lost. And they are in trouble. Woo,
Now we
woo.
thought of we asked I asked well we talked about McCarthy. We don't think he's going anywhere. Well, I don't think he's going anywhere because what are they going to do? They're going to bring him.
Yeah.
Tomlin's not going
They
anywhere. Is
Tomlin's not.
Sirianni getting launched into the sun?
Sirianni's got the better. I think Sirianni's got a bigger chance than McCarthy.
Yes.
I think only because Philly thinks that they can do better, and they probably can, as opposed to the Dallas who wants to do better, but I don't think they. I don't think they can. Like Philly is an attractive place to go.
Philly has a very good GM. Very good.
Yes,
GM. It's like top 5 GM.
I won't. I won't. I won't say that to my friend, but yes, Howard Roseman is a really good.
He has a knack for accumulating draft picks, for finding talent, and bringing them in. Knack.
Yes.
All of that talent, that young talent, started off great this year, just like the team, and then just petered out in the back half, the back third. If you launch Sirianni into the sun, which I'm not opposed to because I think the guy's an asshole, you launch Sirianni into the sun, is that the landing spot for now all the craziness that happened in the football world after we last talked? Bill Belichick, who is no longer the head coach of the New England Patriots.
Yes.
I mean, to me, that's like the number one place he would want to go because he's chasing numbers. He wants to be the all-time winningest coach. That roster is built to win, and they're a winning roster. They have a good young quarterback. They have a very strong GM. He won't have to worry about that. He's got to get the defense right. And get
that back end of the defense is bad,
but
though.
That's his specialty.
Like that's the part that would be. That's the part that would be the troublesome
the
part.
Secondary,
for him.
That's his jam, man.
But he would still need someone who can run that offense.
So and
are you letting him make that pick?
No, I think Roseman
or is Roseman makes that pick.
I think the organization says, all right, Bill, these are your 3 guys you could choose from. Pick the guy you like.
But is that a way to? Does that entice Bill or does that deter him?
I think it. I don't think Bill wants to do Bill has proven he doesn't want to do the offensive stuff.
He doesn't want to do it, but not letting him pick the guy he wants.
I think if you give him a list of good guys,
because Josh McDaniels is Josh McDaniels on that list.
Then Jalen Hurts is off of the Philadelphia Eagles in 2 seasons.
I'm just saying, I would not be surprised if Josh McDaniels comes in a package deal with Bill Belichick.
No way. No, Bill's smarter than that. I think Bill did that because he had no other options in New England because he just didn't know how to get somebody. He just didn't. Even though you'd think that like you could probably throw out a wide enough net and catch a bunch of fish in that opportunity. I just don't know. Like so, for Josh McDaniels in New England, it's like, would you rather go with the evil or the unknown evil, right? I won with this guy.
He's had success, though.
I've had success.
He's had success.
He sucks. I get it. He sucks, but we've won together. Let's keep him here.
But not that he doesn't suck as an offensive coordinator. Mac Jones was a Pro Bowl quarterback under Josh McDaniels.
Yes, he was.
So I can see a world. Now he never needs to coach again.
No.
He never needs to get the head coaching job again. But I can see a world where Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick come as a package deal.
But there's so many good offensive coordinators that are like floating around out there,
But this is someone where Bill trusts. Mm-hmm. He can sit there and literally say, you do that. I'm not even going to be involved in those meetings. I'm going to do this. I don't think there's another person like that he can trust.
Do you think Josh McDaniels can run a Jalen Hurts-led offense?
I don't know. I don't know. He's run other offenses and they've looked solid. They've looked good.
But he's always had Tom Brady
he made Mac
Well,
Jones an
for Mac
All Pro
Jones, right?
Bowler.
So not like Mac Jones is
That's
great,
the
but Mac
that's the
Jones
one that I'm so
is more
surprised about.
quarterbacky, right? Like he's take the snap, 5-step
Mhm.
drop, 1, 2, 3 throw, right? Like that's what he's always been.
But I don't think you can. I don't think if looking at what the Philadelphia Eagles do, they they may have some drawing up quarterback runs. It's not a lot.
No, their
It's
whole
really
offense is
not a lot.
RPO. Their whole offense is
Yes,
RPO, right? So it's on Jalen to make that call.
that was more to me. That was I don't know if they run that much RPOs. That Doug Peterson was an RPO guy.
No,
I don't know
their
if they
whole
run
offense is RPO. I can almost get I can almost I don't know what the
because they don't do a lot of running.
no.
Because if you look at if you, so I don't know what part of the R
It's
part of the
more of a
run they don't do.
POR. It's a
Just pretend we're gonna run.
yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
really, but
So I mean it's there. He
I
always pulls it back.
I think you would be giving him weapons of AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, DJ Swift, and Hurts. I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone who couldn't make that work.
Yeah, you'd think, but look
I
what they did.
I think
You'd think you'd be hard pressed.
that's true. But I don't think their offense was the problem towards the end. Like you said, they scored 34 or something against Arizona. They scored 28 against the Giants. They score
He
points.
scored 9 yesterday.
That was not good.
That was
and
bad.
that was bad. So I just think Sirianni could go. I do think I just want to know how much control Bill's going to want later on in the life, because that's really going to dictate where he goes. If he wants a lot of control, there's only going to be a few places that I think he can
I don't
go.
think anybody will give him like total control. I don't think anybody would do that. Mate, no, they wouldn't.
If he comes into the Chargers arena with all 6 of his championship rings on his finger, and they look up and they don't have one, they're gonna bow down. Some people are gonna bow down.
Yeah, like West Side Connection.
They're gonna they're just gonna realize that okay, maybe he knows something that we don't know. Like there's some people now, some organizations won't.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to know. If he's willing to relinquish some of that control, he can go to any team. He can pick
said he was
whatever
for the Patriots. He said if that's what works best, the Patriots, I'd be happy to do that.
That he said that. I don't believe it.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
all I know is I for sure 100% believe he wants that all-time win thing, and he needs to go to a team that can win, because just like Jerry Jones, Bill Belichick is not a spring chicken. He's not 81,
no.
but he's what 70,
71,
right? 71. So like yeah.
But like, why let that man go at that point in time, right? How many wins does he have to get? How far is he away from that record?
It's 30.
30? Ooh.
Yeah.
He ain't got 30 wins left on him, I don't think.
Let's see. It might not be 30. List of Football League head coaches, win leaders. Come on, give me. Don Shula with 328. George Halas with 318. Bill Belichick
he's less than
with
30.
He's 26 away from the all-time win record, and that's regular. Is that regular season or just all wins? It's probably all wins too, including postseason.
Yeah. Bill Belichick with the Cleveland Browns was 36-44. He is 266-121 with the New England,
which is insane.
Statistics may tell us that he may not be good with the next team he goes to.
But I bet you he's not bad.
27 wins.
That Browns team did not give him the opportunity to become a good coach, and it's not like they did many. The Browns team became a good team because they moved shortly after 1995 and became the Baltimore Ravens, right? So
27 games.
Where does he get those 27 games? Probably minimum 3 years.
Minimum, he could do it in 2, but
I mean,
he could do it in 2.
He'd have to get a 14 win and a 13 win, which is a lot.
A lot.
The Eagles were 10-1 at one point.
The Chargers, how much they win? 8, 9 games
this year. 4 or 5.
Four? Four?
Yeah, well, Herbert got hurt, right?
Okay. All right.
Last year they
So
made the playoffs,
yeah.
but that is a team
Let's
that has issues, has roster
but
issues.
let he could go to the Cowboys and win 12 games just with his eyes closed. He
Yeah,
could go to the
yeah, that's
Eagles
what I'm
and
saying.
possibly win 12 games with his eyes closed. Um, so it could be it could be 2 seasons.
So back to my Herbert getting traded to the Bears dream. Right now, the Chargers are 44 mil over the cap for next season. You have Khalil Mack, who's if you cut him, who's a 38 million cap hit. You cut him,
If you cut him, he's
he's still
38 or
38. He's 38. You cut him, it's 15 million dead cap. Yeah, Bosa, who's a 36 million cap hit. Yeah, Keenan Allen, who's a $34 million cap hit. Mike Williams
is
is a
he
$32
cuttable?
million cap hit. That's four guys at $140 million just about next year.
What's name won't be there. I don't think Not Akers,
Eckler,
Eckler.
yeah, he's a free agent. Then you got
Hmm.
Derwin James is $20 million cap hit. Herbert's a $20 million cap hit next year. Uh,
They'll kick the can
Corsi
down for
Lindsey.
another year or
Well, I
so.
don't think you can. I don't know if you
You
can.
can't
It's
they can't restructure anyone's. They
restructure.
just signed Nick Bosa. They probably could do some restructuring.
Yeah, I
Guys, he's got some years on the back end that they could kick that
and then you
down
got
to.
guys like Khalil Mack, Keenan Allen. Those they just won't be on the team next year. But even if if you cut Keenan Allen, you clear with 23 million. You cut Khalil Mack, you clear with 23 million. That gets them back to zero uh, cap space, and leaves you with 26 million dead. Right? I just don't see. And like Herbert, here's why Herbert
I,
can't get traded, is because they do, then it's like $110 million cap hit against the Chargers. Like it's not going to happen because of all the upfront money. It's still a dream that I have. I'm sure they could restructure something, figure something. But
it's
That
it's
Chargers team is in a situation where it's going to be hard. It's going to take a very shrewd general manager to come in, and they don't have a general manager, right? Because they tossed him.
they tossed him.
They have to come in and figure out how to make this work, and it's gonna be rip the band-aid sort of scenario, a lot like the Bears had when Ryan Poles came in and said, "Okay, we're gonna trade Khalil Mack. You're gonna have to
But
do it."
if I'm Bill Belichick, I've done more with less, especially on defense.
Yes, oh, I agree.
I so I if I Derwin James, I'm sorry. Khalil Mack, I'll do it with I'll keep Bosa here
Oh yeah, you need a guy. You need
and
that guy,
yeah,
no matter how much you cut
and
him.
I'll figure something else around. Somebody will sign with me at the league minimum. I'll pull someone,
Yeah,
but
and you got guys.
he's got he's got
Yeah,
he's got options. He definitely has options. If he's willing to
but
be flexible,
if he wants to get 27 wins in 2 to 3 seasons,
then
it's not
then
the Chargers.
his pickings his choices are
Yeah,
slim.
he's got
But
2 or 3 options.
of of all the teams that are actively looking for a quarterback, a coach, where is he going? Washington,
No,
Carolina,
no,
Chargers,
Atlanta.
Atlanta. These are the teams we're talking about hypothetically if the Cowboys and the Eagles. But right now, he's an unemployed
Yeah. Yep.
coach. And these are the teams that need coaches. None of those teams scream 28 wins in 3 years.
Maybe Atlanta
Maybe the Chargers.
or the
You
Chargers.
think Atlanta?
Well, I
You
said
think
may, but they don't
Atlanta?
have a quarterback. If they get a quarterback, maybe.
Yeah, and their division is probably the weakest one. So it's possible. But Panthers are in that division, and they have a young quarterback.
Yeah.
But I don't see him going to the Panthers. I just
Oh
don't see it
God, no.
happening.
He'd have to deal with Tepper. Those
Oh,
two couldn't
yes.
exist in the same. I'm surprised they can exist on the same planet. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. It'll be interesting. But the Eagles stunk, man.
they did. They did. It was great. It was absolutely great. Oh
No,
man.
I need to talk. I need to talk about my favorite. I really enjoy Baker Mayfield. I don't think he's a great quarterback, but there's something about him that I think he's weird and he's goofy enough, and I think he's self aware enough. So I saw a few things. I've come to like Baker Mayfield because of my job, because I've had to do some stuff with Nissan, and Baker Mayfield does the
Mhm.
Heisman House commercials and stuff like that. So I see how goofy he is. But then I saw a thing recently where a few years ago ESPN was filming something, and Tom Brady couldn't be there for this quarterback thing. So they asked Baker Mayfield, "Hey, will you not go to the main shoot with everybody, but come to this Tom Brady only shoot where it's just you and Tom Brady?" And he said, "Yeah." So the bit was Tom Brady was getting an award, so he took off all of his Super Bowl rings and asked Baker Mayfield to hold them at the table while he went up and accepted the award. And Baker Mayfield was like, "Yeah, I can do that, right?" So you see Baker Mayfield sitting with this grin on his face, holding these rings. It's because of things like that where I like Baker Mayfield. He's endeared himself to me, not necessarily because he's a world-beating quarterback, but he seems like a weird enough person that is kind of good at quarterbacking.
I'm gonna tell you something. And this is just hate from a Giants fan.
Yes.
Why I will not like Baker
Okay.
Mayfield is what he said about Daniel Jones.
Okay. What do you say about Daniel Jones?
He was mad that the Giants didn't pick. Who was it that they didn't pick?
I don't know.
It was someone in that draft. I think it was Sam Darnold or
Uh-huh.
something. And he was just like, he's like, why would you pick him? He's not a winner or something like that. Because remember, uh, Odell Beckham Jr. got traded from the Giants
The Browns, yeah.
to the Browns. He talked mess about Eli Manning. He talked mess about Daniel Jones because he was number one quarterback. Just took the Browns to the playoffs. He was doing the Browns commercials where he was sleeping in. He was the man.
Mm-hmm.
And then it all went to shit overnight. And I was like, good for you. You don't talk bad about the Giants. I will never have
He got a
love
raw
for you.
deal because he was hurt. He played a whole season hurt. And because
Yeah, but he was hurt because he ran around in that backfield and
okay, so he got hurt.
held on to that ball
He got hurt
longer than he
playing
wanted
football. He just took the Browns. He got the Browns their first playoff win. It's a lot like Jared Goff, right? So he goes and he gets the Browns their first playoff win in like 26 years. Next year, he's hurt. And then OBJ started talking shit about him. It's like, I just can't get the ball. If you threw me the ball, we'd win, blah, blah, blah. All that kind of bullshit, right? So they're like, all right, we'll just jettison Baker Mayfield. And then we'll trade away all of our franchise for Deshaun Watson. And we'll give Deshaun Watson all that guaranteed money. And we know everything we know about Deshaun Watson. It wasn't like we traded him and it's like, oh, we just found out now?
Where'd those come from?
No, they knew what they were getting with Deshaun Watson. And now Baker Mayfield has more playoff wins than the Browns have had in the last 40 years.
Baker Mayfield got into a situation where it was a very favorable situation for him.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, like that's what you want. If you're a quarterback,
That
you want a good position. But I always want to talk about my favorite pass that he had all of yesterday. It wasn't good. He takes a snap, and who are they playing? Oh, the Eagles. The Eagles just blitz everybody. Sent everybody in because the hope was, well, if we can knock, because they were kind of on the edge of field goal range. If we can knock them out of field goal range, it's fourth down. Either they'll go for it, maybe we can hold them off, but it'll be like a long fourth down. It'll be like 4th and 20, right? So they'll have to punt. And instead, Baker just kind of closes his eyes and chucks the ball straight up in the air. And I think it was Godwin or Evans. I don't know which one it was. Runs down to the goal line, turns around, sees the ball. I don't know what the Eagles defender was doing. He just kept running to the back of the end zone. It was almost like he was like a video game character, like set in a direction, and until he hits, he's going to run until he hits a wall. Godwin or Evans, I can't remember which one, turns around, sees the ball come down, very Green Bay-esque, comes 5 yards in from the end zone, catches it, turns around, and just runs it back into the end zone. And that was a touchdown that broke the Eagles' chances of even coming back, because then it made it 20 whatever to 9, right? So
yeah, it's not.
It wasn't a good pass. Baker Mayfield didn't have a very good game. He was good enough to beat the Eagles, and the Eagles were bad enough to let him just run all over him.
Yes. Yeah, Hurts took a stupid sack. Why that sack?
On,
Why
from the
not throw the
11.
ball? Why not throw the ball?
You took a safety
He,
from the 11.
oh my god, it was bad. It was bad, and they just got out of safety
Yeah,
range to play
the
before
previous
that.
play was almost a safety.
Yes, but
And he threw
they
it out. And I'm like,
man.
oh, okay. And then when he took that snap, he's going back like, oh, this is going to be a safety. I love safety. I love when safeties happen. And I love when safeties
Yes,
happen because they're a
I love.
sack and not like, oh, the ball got kicked out of the back of the end zone or something like that, right? Like a legit, like, oh, we got the quarterback in the end zone or we stopped the running back in the end zone. Those are the best safeties.
It's so to me. I always figure it's so difficult.
Yeah.
Like, you see this, you see him coming. Throw that ball
Yeah.
away. Get that ball
Throw it.
away. Run till you get running more, and then throw it as far as you
Yep.
can.
It, he just, I don't know what he's doing. He took an 18-step drop. What do you do that for? Why? Why you run away?
No one could get open. Why can't anyone get open?
And everybody was covered. You saw him too. Like they kept showing like, and here were his options. Every person was just had a guy on him. There's nowhere to throw the ball
Yeah.
except for away, and then he
No,
didn't do that. I don't know what he was waiting for.
This,
Oh well.
this is my dream, that Kelsey retires and the Lane Johnson decides he wants to retire as well, and they lose their center and their right tackle that have been killing us for the last 13 years. And then I'll be happy. And they've already lost one. And Lane Johnson, he's got to be next. He's got to be.
Yeah. Now, the Bucks stopped a tush push yesterday. It took a face mask to do it, an uncalled face mask, but they did it. Now, if you take Kelsey out of the equation, how many tush pushes are going to be successful?
Kelsey knows how to do it. Kelsey, like I said, I still think that the drink that stirs that move is the quarterback that can squat 600 pounds. I still think the reason why other teams it doesn't work for them because they don't have a quarterback who can squat 600 pounds.
It helps.
So I think a center can be taught to do that, and I think it'll help. I don't know if let's say they don't have Nick Sirianni there. Do they still do that?
I don't know.
Do they still do that move, or do they do a conventional sneak, which works too?
Yep.
I don't know. I do like a conventional sneak as well.
I don't know why people don't do it. Like that classic, like, oh, here's a sneak where the quarterback dives underneath everybody and still get, you only need like the yard. You don't have to go over the top.
Exactly.
Yeah, whatever.
Exactly.
Well, that was the super wild card weekend.
There's only one other thing I need to talk about, a rule that I did not know existed in football. Gerard Mayo getting the coaching job at the Patriots.
Yes, that was interesting.
That was. I did not know. They said that if you announce to the league in advance, a year in advance,
policy,
a succession policy, that you don't have to interview anyone for the job.
Yeah.
That didn't know that was a thing. You would think that everyone would do that.
And
decide whether, but it has to be in contract, I think.
And it also
so you can't just like
internal too. You can't just be like, I'm going to announce now that the successor to my lame duck head coach is Bill Belichick, who's also the head coach over there. If he becomes free, this is what I'm going to do, right?
Yeah, but I think it's like I don't think they could offer it to anyone else besides Jeremy Mayo because it was contracted that he would get it. So it's not like you can sit there and go, "Oh, this is our coach in waiting," unless we decide we don't want
now,
that.
Did Bill Belichick know he was the coach in waiting?
Yes, he came. They said he came. Bill Belichick was the one who was like, "Yo, this guy needs to be the next coach if I'm not here."
Didn't they do that down in Tampa Bay with Todd Bowles? When Bruce Arians stepped down, or did they have to go through the whole process and make?
Bruce stepped down during the season, right, or beginning of the season, or something like that, like training camp, right? And if they remove the interim tag during the season, they don't have to interview for the job. It's only if they like, or I forget what it is, because you can remove the interim tag and he becomes your head coach. So you're no longer looking for a vacancy for your head coach. So, and I think that's what what's him was saying. He was like, yeah, he wasn't the coach in waiting, but he did it at that time so they wouldn't have to do an interview process for the position, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, because I know Antonio Pierce interviewed for the Titans position, the Falcons position, and Max Crosby said, if he's not the head coach of the Raiders, you might as well trade me.
Yeah, it's up to me. It would have to be up to Antonio Pierce. If I'm the Oakland Raiders, I'm putting an offer out there.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
hard.
I'm
It's
putting an
hard.
offer
Like I
out.
said before, it's hard to hire him if you don't have a GM in place, in my opinion.
Well, so GMs sometimes have some slight input in the head coach. You heard what
Yeah,
the
that's
Falcons said.
Falcons, but they're the Falcons, right?
We'll hire a head coach, but
Some input from our general
we'll take
manager.
his some things says into consideration.
Yep. All right. Yeah, I didn't know that was a rule, and then it happened, and it was like, oh, interesting. And that was a weird day of football because, or like 2 days of football because Pete Carroll,
Everyone, Pete
stepped
Carroll,
down.
Nick
Nick
Saban,
Saban steps down in Alabama, and then Bill
yep,
Belichick and the
Bill
Patriots part
Belichick.
ways, all like within the course of 24 hours. It was insane.
Mm-hmm.
What else is insane is we're tied again. We both have 90 correct picks through the wild card.
What?
Yeah, I was up ahead. I was up one, but because I cannot pick the Packers and Lions, and I was able to convince you to not pick the Lions, we're still tied.
Yeah. Yep. I was like, did I pick the Lions or the Rams? I was because I had the Lions
At first, I talked you into it. So we get the divisional round, and now the matchup that I didn't want to have happen is happening. The Ravens are 9-point favorites hosting my Houston Texans.
Yeah.
But it's my Ravens versus my Texans. This is like my oldest versus my youngest. Who do I want to see win? Even though like I really have no association to any of these teams. They're just I just really like the Ravens and I like the Texans right now. So
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think this one might be some chalk because I'm going Ravens. I am going Ravens. I don't man, I wouldn't be surprised. The Ravens are a better
Yes.
team. The Texans don't know that the Ravens are a better team. And that's what makes them scary.
yeah, you know,
That's what makes them
there's
scary.
it always feels like and when I say always, this is like the loosest, like I don't have any numbers or anything in front of me, but it always feels like a top seed comes out of that bye and gets surprised by somebody. I don't know if it's always true, but it feels like it always happens.
It definitely
once a
does.
year.
It definitely feels like that. It used to feel like that more when the 2 and the 1
Both had the buys.
both had
Somebody
both
would come
had
out of a bye
buys.
and
It felt
lose.
like one of them was good. Yeah. But well, now you can say the Cowboys did that. They were the 2 seed and
They
lost to the
basically gave
7.
the Packers a bye at the 7th seed,
Yes.
and the Bucks pretty much
No,
got
speaking
a bye
of
too.
yeah.
So yeah, I got the Ravens too. They're my picks for the Super Bowl, so I'm not gonna sway off of them now.
Wow. This can't be right. The 49ers is only a minus
No, they're
1.
-10.
Okay, I was like, that can't be right.
No, they might have been -11 when I looked at it last. Let's see.
At home to the Green Bay Packers, that's my Super Bowl team, and that's my pick. So I'm definitely going 49ers.
Oh, they're only -8.5 right now. I'm going to tell you what. If there's one thing that is almost as reliable as the Packers beating the Bears, it is the 49ers beating the Packers in the
Niners
playoffs.
beating the Packers.
49ers beating the Packers in the playoffs. They almost do it every year. And it's outstanding. Yeah, I'm taking the 49ers there. I'm still thinking about the last time Aaron Rodgers played in a playoff game, and it was against the 49ers. There's a blocked punt in there. 49ers, it was in Lambeau. Oh, man, it was the freaking Packers won
Beautiful.
13 games that year. Aaron Rodgers won an MVP.
See, I can see it in your face. You'd like that as much as I like watching the Eagles and the Cowboys.
Watching the Packers lose is great. Watching the Packers lose with Aaron Rodgers is great. It's even better. But Aaron Rodgers is hurt and didn't play the whole season for the New York Jets. And that was pretty fun too.
If they were playing this week, he'd be back though.
Oh, he would not be back.
He would not be
Would
back.
not be back. 49ers. I expected the Cowboys to just dismantle their defense, the Packers defense. They didn't do it. I fully expect the 49ers to to be a professional football team and destroy the Packers defense.
I don't see how you can stop them.
I don't.
Like, there's just too many weapons out there, and Kyle Shanahan is very smart.
Kyle Shanahan is very smart, and they have a very good defense. Not like a Cowboys' good defense. They have a very good defense that's like legitimately good.
Oh
I don't know
God,
how
Chase Young.
Jordan Love's going to actually get pressured, and he's going to throw those floaters.
Throw a lot of his back.
A lot of back foot floaters that just sit out there. They're picked off by what's his name? Oh, who's that safety they have? Mofongo, is that his name? I like him.
Yeah, you like him.
He reminds me of Palomalu. And I don't know if it's just because they have Polynesian last names, but they also have the long hair and they're hard-hitting safeties. I like that.
Oh.
Then we have the Lions hosting the Buccaneers. Lions benefit from the Cowboys being terrible and get to host 2 home playoff games. Maybe the first time ever. I don't know if they've ever done that before. They are 6-point favorites versus the Bake Show.
Oh man. Yeah, I gotta go Lions. But man, no, I'd be surprised. I'm thinking I wouldn't be surprised if Todd Bowles pulls it out. No, I'd be surprised. I would be surprised if he does. They have a really good offense. Todd Bowles can coach the hell out of defense, and they will be good. I'm not letting you talk about this one. I'm going Lions.
So.
And it's at home.
It's at home.
I don't.
Here's my hope. Is that the NBC Eminem curse? It was like one of those like slow release.
The time release.
Release pills. You swallow. It's like, oh, I got a headache now, or maybe I'll be hungry later. I'm going to take this diet pill now, and then I won't be hungry later. Or I know I'm going to need a boner sometime in the next 12 hours. I'm hoping that's what happens. I'm hoping that's what happens. The Buccaneers pull off the upset. Bake Show. I don't even care how the Buccaneers score. It's like the Bears play the Packers. I don't care how they score as long as they score more than the Lions. That'll make me happy. And like I said, it's not because it won't make me as happy. Boy, if the Packers get dismantled, the Lions win. That's fine. Like I don't care. As long as the Lions don't go to the Super Bowl, I'm happy with that.
I don't think you got to worry about that.
I don't think so either. And then finally, in the frozen lakeside of Buffalo, New York, the Bills take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Bills are 2.5 point favorites. It is
in Buffalo.
What's that?
In Buffalo, right?
Yes.
But Buffalo's the 2 seed.
First time Patrick Mahomes will ever be on the road for a playoff game, ever.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say I don't think the conditions could be as bad as it was in Kansas City. So the weather may not be a factor. Oh man, I want to pick the Chiefs. I definitely want to pick the Chiefs. I'm picking the Chiefs away from Arrowhead. But if I have to see Taylor Swift, maybe she won't show up. It's cold. Oh,
I don't mind Taylor Swift. You know what? She can dance all she wants. What is a celebrity? I mean, we saw Eminem doing the same damn shit as Taylor Swift, but in Detroit. And Eminem's far more known than Taylor Swift.
No.
Yes, he is.
If Eminem is in the audience for Game 5, Week 5 of the NFL, they're not going to show him. If he's there Week 6, they're not going to show him.
Yes, they would have.
If he's probably got season tickets. He's probably there every day, but you wouldn't know because they don't show him every time.
I bet you they would.
Anytime.
Now, hold on.
Taylor Swift is in that arena.
Eminem
they're going to show her.
Dating Matt Laporta. They would have showed him every time.
But I'm just saying,
Jack
I just
Nicholson,
don't need.
Well, he doesnn's go out to the Lakers games anymore, but when he did, they showed him every time. They show Spike Lee every time.
But it's hard not to see them. They're right there in the field of the view of the camera.
Yeah, and Taylor Swift is right in front of the camera always. That's not her fault.
No, that's because they
not her fault.
Put the camera right.
That is not her fault, though. I don't have a problem with it. I don't care about it. I don't care about them showing Eminem. I don't care about them showing Taylor Swift. It's all good. They don't like they don't like superimpose her on the field while they're playing, or they don't like use the green of the
No.
field as a green screen and then put Taylor Swift underneath it, right? Like they're fine.
That'd be great if they just had like a Taylor Swift concert playing. So just Swiftie fans and football fans will get at the best of both
And NBC
worlds.
will have that stream next. I guarantee it. So like, why would they? I would. They need to make Peacock profitable somehow.
Oh my god! I hope everyone cancel their subscription.
Here's the thing that sucks though. Like I have a Peacock subscription. I had it before that.
You had it before. That's
Yeah,
fine.
well, I don't want it. I don't even know why I have it. And here's what's crazy. Like I sit
I got
here
a
one
Paramount
day
Plus.
and I got the notification from PayPal or something like that. It's like, ooh, a $60 charge. I'm like, what the fuck is that for? I'm like, I haven't bought. I'm just sitting here. I didn't buy anything. I look, it was Peacock renewing. That was like a January 4th. I'm like, yeah, what?
I guess I got
Too late
Peacock
now.
for another year.
And then they're like, oh, look, there's a football game exclusive to Peacock. I'm like, oh, guess I'll watch WrestleMania and this game this year. Makes $60 worth it.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Bills in this game only because
Yeah.
one of the single greatest football games I've ever seen played in real time, live on television, was the last time these two teams met in the playoffs. And it went to the overtime game, and then they had to change the damn overtime rules because Patrick Mahomes,
We needed more.
they needed more football.
We need.
Like,
Mhm.
I want, and I like both these quarterbacks. I like Josh Allen quite a bit. I like Patrick Mahomes quite a bit. I've always been, Bills were kind of like, when you're a fan of a bad team, as we are,
Gotta get a secondary
you
team.
always for me, I always have to choose an AFC team to be interested in. Right? I always do this. I know you don't do it, but I do it. This year was
It was Packers for my team.
this year was the Ravens.
always-
I picked them early because I knew the Bears were going to be what the Bears were. Picked the Ravens early. I can't remember who I picked last year, but 2 years ago I picked the Bills. I'm like, I'm all in on the Bills. It's gonna be the Bills. So they're like my other team this from time to time. So I have like a residual.
You got the Ravens and the Bills.
No, I have a residual like like when you have a breakup and you're like every once in a while you'll still think about the old one. Like, I'm happy
Yeah.
now, but remember that 3 years ago? That's what the Bills are in this game. We had a mutual amicable breakup, and I said I'll always be happy if you're successful. And the Bills said the same thing to me. Like, Derek, we just want to see you happy. And I said, okay, great. I'm going to cheer for the Ravens this year. I'm like, oh, we get it. But if the Bills win, I'm fine with that. I'm happy, and I kind of want to see them be victorious for once. Plus, it's the consistently good team being knocked down a peg sort of thing. I mean, the Chiefs went to the Super Bowl last year. They won it last year. They won it 2 years ago. They, just like that.
I don't think they're good enough to win it, but I'd like to think that good coaching. I'm a fan of good coaching, and Reed is a good coach.
The better coach.
It's a good coach. Yeah, that's what I'm giving him to. And you would think that because Bills are the only team that actually plays in New York, that I'd be a Bills. I'm not a Bills fan. don't like the Bills.
Yeah, I understand that too, because they're like a local rival. Like I get that. Like it's like the Cubs and the Sox, the Yankees and the Mets, right? Like you can't be a fan of both teams. That's stupid. Like, but like the Bills, like they're far enough away. It's not even like New York City. It's like upstate New York.
It's not.
Like, it don't matter.
It's not. It's a whole different.
Like I can't cheer for a New York City team, but I can cheer for a New York upstate team. Syracuse, the Bills, yeah, that's fine. That's all good. I can cheer for those guys. All right, we did it. We got through.
We got to break the tie this week. This one's gonna break the tie.
Well, so last week there was only one lower seed that won last week, and it was the Packers. The rest were all the 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4 seeds won.
Yeah, chalk. Yeah.
This week, I think the Buccaneers beat the Lions, and the Bills and the rest are all chalk.
Yeah, the Bills would be chalk. I don't think it is though. I don't think they beat them. Like I said, the weather shouldn't be a factor. We just watched them play in a super cold game.
Yeah.
The Bills probably are a better team. They probably are a better team. I'm solely picking them because Mahomes. And not my auto, but Mahomes and Reed.
Yeah.
That is why I'm picking them.
I like Andy Reid a lot. I've always liked Andy Reid. Um, and I don't even know if the Bills are the better team, to be honest. I'm not enamored with the Bills. Like
They have a better running back.
but they don't use
Cook
the running
is.
back. I think Pacheco's a better running back on the Chiefs.
You think? I do not think Pacheco's that great of a running back. He,
I
I,
don't know.
I like workhorses. I like a guy I'm gonna give 30 yards, 30, 20
But
carries
they
a
don't do that
game
on the
to.
Bills.
They don't, but I think they
You know,
could. They
the
could,
Bills had
and I think Allen runs the ball more than anyone else on that team.
so the Texans have Singletary this year, right? Who was always on the Bills, and the reason Singletary is getting burned this year is because what's his face got Damian Pierce got hurt,
Got hurt.
right?
Yeah.
Singletary's been really good, and he
Mm-hmm.
was on the Bills. The Bills just didn't use him,
Yes,
right?
they
And
did.
now they have
They just
Dalvin
use
Cook's younger brother.
Allen.
They don't use him. I don't know if he's good or not. He might be good. They had one
I
good
like
game
him.
with him where they ran the ball, right? They haven't done that
Yeah.
since.
True.
So
True.
Pacheco's a better running back just by default.
They've got is Knox injured or is Knox
I
good?
don't
I forget. The
know.
tight
Well,
end.
Kansas City's got the better tight end.
Definitely.
Bills had the better receiving
Diggs
core.
is Diggs is definitely yes.
I mean, Diggs and
And
Gabe Davis
defense,
and Shakir, that's a better one, two,
yeah,
three than Kansas City does.
than any three that they can
Kansas
put
City's got the
together.
better defense.
Yes.
I'm not
That's
enamored with the Bills team. I think they're good. I don't think they're great, and I don't think the Chiefs are great either. But I think the Bills will win
I don't
this
think
game.
the Chiefs are
I think
great.
the Bills
I
have the
don't
home
think the
field
Chiefs
advantage, and I think that means something in the playoffs, especially when it's outside and it's cold. Bills will win.
I think they're gonna ask Allen to do too much, and
They
it's
always
not gonna
do.
happen. Yeah, this would be the game where he throws two interceptions that cause them
Oh, he'll
to
throw two
lose.
interceptions. Like I don't think there's any getting around it. I think Josh Allen is going to go out there because he wants, just like I want to see him avenge the game from 2 years ago. He's going to want to avenge the game from 2 years ago. And he's going to go out there and he's going to throw two crazy picks. And they're going to be like, no, why did you throw that 50 yards downfield in the end zone on third down? I'm like, well, it could have been a punt, right? Like, I,
Hmm.
I think they'll be fine. And I think both quarterbacks will do something that, like, oh, nobody should be able to do that. Josh Allen will do some weird, like, oh, he's falling out of bounds and he flicks it between his legs, and Mahomes will do something where he bounces it off his knee or something like that. Like, it'll be insane. They'll hacky sack the ball down the field. Who knows? But the Bills will win, and it won't be high scoring. And
Yeah, I don't think I
yeah,
don't see it
it'll be
being high
like
scoring either.
21-19 or something like that. I'll take it. All right. I think that's all we can do tonight.
I think
I think
that's it.
we
I
have to
think
call
that's
it.
it. Hopefully, the NFL, of course, will bless us with some more stuff for next week because they just have to be front line and center with news. So somebody will get fired
Oh,
again.
we've
Somebody,
talked about them this evening. Somebody will be fired,
yeah,
even though they
yeah.
shouldn't be, or we don't think they will be. Somebody will get fired or step down. It'll be a mutual parting of ways,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody will get
Sirianni.
hired.
Sirianni is the one. If I had to put my money, I'd say Sirianni versus over McCarthy.
Yeah, I think they both get fired. That's my hope for next week.
The only one team can have Belichick though. That's why I'm like the other two, whoever doesn't get him, they're like, well, what do we do
What
now?
what if what if one gets Bill Belichick and the other one gets William Welichick?
Gets his son or
Yeah. It sends us. Oh boy, that'd be interesting. And they just dual coach. They joint coach. It's like having little league and you have dual practice, right? And you're just like, I got I got a kid on this team, I got a kid on this team. We're gonna practice together. That's what they're gonna do.
Oh
All
man.
right, Harlan. I think that's
Yeah.
it. We didn't,
Yeah,
we
that's a
didn't
good
even
one.
say what we
Another
were
good.
at the beginning. So we're
Oh, they know. They know who we are. They know. It's TDs and tangents. We went on the tangent. Those bulls, man, those bulls.
only the Bulls, my man. Only the Bulls.
But you guys know who we are. I'm
All right.
Harlan.
Peace.
We're out of here.